So a little while ago I did a video on, actually it was more than a little while ago, I made a video on what to pack for a zombie apocalypse, what would be the best range weapon, and what would be the best melee weapon. And for the most part, it was a giant joke. And it was a lot of fun making it, and it's funny because some people didn't get the jokes. But anyways, a little bit more serious, I thought I'd do a what's the best blade to take for a zombie apocalypse, because I'm a big Walking Dead fan, and it's a big part of the zombie apocalypse survival in the Walking Dead. So I thought I'd make a little video. So for long range, if you watch The Walking Dead, Michonne, she's really good with her sword. So let's look at long range blades. So this is a Burmese dye. My brother got this from a fishing village in Inlay City. As you can tell, it's not very sharp. The problem with this is that this was meant for tourists, and as it's meant for tourists, it's probably not meant for work. This handle's actually loose. I personally wouldn't trust something made for tourism, because it's just a display piece. It's just meant to look pretty. Just with the design, and just really all it does is just sit on the TV stand. The sheath is already falling apart, so no, I wouldn't consider that. If I was going to choose a blade for a zombie apocalypse, I wouldn't really necessarily choose a blade. I choose what's the best tool. I want a blade that is a tool. Now this is a Banshee sword, and this one is actually meant to be used as a machete. So it's a lot sturdier, very, very sharp. I don't want to, it would cut me. But this is actually meant to be a tool. This would be something much more suitable. It's full tang, so it goes all the way through, and this little stick there that they hammered down. And it has a little locking mechanism right here that locks it in, and then it doesn't come out. And you have to initiate this button to pull it open. So if I was going to go with a sword, I would go with this, because it's first and foremost meant to be a tool. It's meant to be a machete. And then I guess you could use it to cut open some zombies if need be, though. Moving on the machete side, which I think is the way to go, because most swords are meant to just be display pieces. Very rarely you will find like a real battle-ready sword, but for the most part they're just meant to be display. But there are also display machetes, which is something you wouldn't want to choose. Like for instance, this here, I think my roommate got at the Renaissance Festival. It's actually pretty sharp, but it's made in China, and stainless steel. It's meant to be like a quirky design, and it is full tang. But I mean, you could definitely take out a zombie with this, but and it is pretty thick. But I feel like this one was mostly meant to be a display item. Just because you can see like it's got some skulls on it. I think it's just meant to be display. Working machete would be very crude, just wooden handles and a blade, like Condor, maybe Gerber, something like that. I would trust that over this, but also in the works. Moving on to smaller blades, another thing that I would highly consider would be a hatchet or an axe of some sort, because I know these are meant to take abuse. I've cut logs with this and split logs with this, and thrown around, just goofing around in the backyard. And I know for sure that the tomahawk can take abuse, and it can do pretty good damage against the zombie skull, as I can tell because I split open, you know, wood with it. So the hatchet would be a good choice. For my backpacking, I like something a little bit lighter. So right here is a tomahawk long hunter, or also known as a pathfinder scout by that one guy from Dual Survival. This is a tomahawk I carry. I also know this can take a lot of abuse because I've taken on camping trips and I've cut logs with this and gathered my fire with this. Again, I emphasize tools. Choose the best tool. Get the blades that are meant to be used as tools. This tomahawk is meant to be used as a tool. That hatchet was meant to be used as a tool. That machete, this one, was meant to be used as a tool. So the best blade would be a tool. And then moving on to survival knives, there are a lot of, I don't want to be mean, but Bud K, I feel those are more meant to be display items. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe some of you guys have Bud K knives and they work great for you. But for survival knife, like Daryl Dixon, what I was looking for a survival blade is, I emphasize tool, like a kitchen knife. This is obviously a tool. It's meant to be used in the kitchen, but I don't think it's not. It's meant to be used in the kitchen. That's the thing. It's not meant to be used and abused like a survival knife. This here is a survival knife. This is the Swamp Rat 6, and I've cut logs with this, gone camping with this, started fires with this, dug holes with this, split logs with this. This is a survival knife. If you look, this is pretty thin blade, and this is pretty thick. Both are full tang, and this one's got some heft to it. So, survival knife, it has to be meant to be used, and this is, believe me, has been meant to be used, and I've used and abused this thing. So, batoning, splitting logs, digging with it, starting fires with it. I know that I can trust this to be used as a zombie elimination tool. Plus, it's just more ergonomic for that. It's got a strong pommel. I've broken bricks with this. So, that is one zombie survival tool. Second knife that I would consider as a survival knife is the Woods Thug. Again, this blade is meant to be used as a tool, which is why I would consider it. This one would really only be good for like stabbing the zombie in the face with, but again, I've split wood with this, I've thrown it, abused it, cut baton through logs, split logs with it, and even just hacked away at logs with it. And I actually got kind of got good at throwing this. This actually weighted pretty good to be thrown, so I got good at that too. And I did dig with this as well. I don't know how strong the pommel is. The Swamp Rat I broke brick with. This one I didn't break anything with. So that's a survival knife. But even with survival knives, hold on one moment. Sometimes they don't hold up. This is a K-bar, United States Marine, and if you're going to get a survival knife, one thing I would suggest is get a full tang. The tang was a stick, and it stopped, and it snapped. Versus, let's say, the Swamp Rat, the tang goes all the way through the width of the blade. There is no stick in there. It's just all the way through. And that is, if you're going to get a zombie survival knife, or just any survival knife in general, I would definitely suggest getting a full tang. I thought this was pretty cool until it snapped. Honestly, I actually did expect it to snap, so I wasn't too upset about it. But I would hate to be in a zombie fight with my K-bar snapping on me. Yeah. Anyways, moving on. Also in the Walking Dead, they use folding knives, and this one gets a little bit tricky because you want something that's fast deployed, but you also want something that's strong enough to like be able to stab through the zombie brain. So something like this stiletto, it is fast deployed, but the blade is so thin it'd probably just snap off. So I wouldn't really suggest this. Plus, you gotta take into account this is a liner lock. This is speed safe. It's technically a loophole, so it is legal. But the liner lock on this, you have to wonder. This is cheap, made in China knife. Will it fold up, or will it just snap and cut my fingers off? I personally wouldn't trust this. You have some lockback knives. This is meant to be like a imitation of a buck knife, but it's made in China. So you have to open it with two hands. This one's actually wobbling, but for the most part, it's still got some life to it. I don't think I wouldn't really trust this lock. A buck knife for sure I would trust, but not this cheap imitation. But if I wanted a pocket knife, I would want a knife that could be deployed with one hand. Plus, this one, if it's in your pocket, you kind of have to dig for it, and there it is. See, that took too long, and then you got to open it. So that's not ideal. Versus something like this Kershaw, it sits right there, and there you go. You got your handy dandy little blade here to slice up some zombies with. This is the Kershaw Shallot, I believe. Yeah, Kershaw Shallot. Also a great knife if you're considering an EDC knife. But the only complaint I have with this blade is that it's very smooth. I feel like if you're stabbing a zombie, I'm sure if you held it tight enough, you'd be okay. But if you stab it hard enough, I think you might slip. Your fingers might slip and you might cut yourself. What might be a better option, even though I do believe that liner lock would hold, as I have kind of stabbed stuff with, and I've never had this lock fail on me. But I think of what might be a better choice is zero tolerance. It's same. I love Kershaw knives. Actually, that's my go-to brand for folding knives. But Kershaw has a bigger brother company, Zero Tolerance, which is meant for like military and police officer knives. So this is a Zero Tolerance 350. Also, it's speed safe, also legal, at least in where I'm at. It's a liner lock, very heavy duty liner lock, and this one's got the G10. I think it's called the G10 scale, so it gets some texture to it. So I don't think it's going to slide in my hand. This finger guard's more pronounced, and I got jimping. So if I were to get a zombie in the eye, I'd be okay. And if I turn around, there's jimping over here, and I could get a zombie again. And so if I had to choose a folding knife, I'd probably choose the Zero Tolerance. This is a pretty good blade. So, yeah, if I had to choose blade for the zombie apocalypse, of my folding knife would be the Zero Tolerance 350. If I had to choose a survival knife, it'd be the Swamp Rat 6. If I had to choose a hatchet or a tomahawk, it'd be the tomahawk long hunter. And if I had to choose a sword or a machete, it'd be the banshee. All of which weren't meant to be display items, they were meant to be tools, used and abused. So anyways, hope you enjoyed. I probably ran long enough, so if you like, if you like what you see, subscribe. Have a nice day.